First on the prelims, we got Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. This is going to be Diego Lopez's hardest matchup yet. This one's going to be a really test for him. Sadiq is a phenomenal fighter. He has fought some top-ranked guys, some elite guys, and he knows what it's like to be in there with someone of that high of skill and how to handle that. I think, his striking, he has the edge on Diego, but I think Diego, he's just an absolute animal. He's such a phenomenon right now. He's on the rise. People are loving this guy. He's got everything to gain from this. He is a rising star. He has so much heart. He does have so much skill. He's great on the mat. He's great on his feet as well. I'm going to take Diego Lopez. I think he's going to take this big step. Next fight, we got Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. And Kayla Harrison, this is her first fight in the UFC, but she's an animal. She has dominated in the PFL. She's a jiu-jitsu specialist. She's phenomenal at so many different aspects. She wins. She knows how to get it done. Holly Holm, she's a phenomenal fighter, but she's been on a little bit of a decline. She's been kind of stagnant, kind of going up and down, very inconsistent. I do think, she has a chance. She's great at staying in it, but I do think Kayla's skill is going to be a little too much for her, and she's going to be able to get the win. Next fight, we have an absolute banger. We got Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar in Aljamain's featherweight debut. Aljamain is an absolute demon. He is one of the best bantamweights of all time. He's shown he could strike. He's phenomenal at grappling. He has fought some of the most skilled opponents in bantamweight. He's going to bring that over. We all know, he was a heavy bantamweight. He's been wanting to switch for a while. I think this is a great fight for him. This is a great setup. Get him into the rankings. Calvin Kattar, he's a great fighter. He has fought some phenomenal fighters, and he shows so much skill. But, he's coming off of 2 losses. I just think Aljamain is hungry, and he wants to pick up this win for his debut. And for our main event for the prelims, we got Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. And Alexander is coming off of a big injury. He was out for a while. And now he's coming up against Yuri, who's at the top. He did just have a loss to Alex Pereira, but it was a little bit of an early stage. But he did look unlike himself, but I think he really hopped on his grind. He took some time, and now this is a great fight for him to come back to, as well as Alexander, because that could also bring him back to the top. This is going to be a very exciting fight. I am going to take Yuri. I think he's just more skilled, and I think Yuri's going to pull this one off and put himself in a position to fight for the title again. First fight on our main card for the UFC 300 event, we got Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. People are a little upset with Bo being on the main card for UFC 300 especially for how stacked it is, but he's put in work. He has shown a lot of upside, and I do understand with how big the hype is with him. It's a business decision at the end of the day, but I do think Bo is going to come in here. He's facing another opponent who's damn near the bottom of the barrel. He's probably going to pick up another win. The hype's going to carry, and I think this is going to set him up for that ranked match. I definitely could have seen other fights being on the main card instead, but I do understand the business decision. Next, we got Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan, and Charles Oliveira is such a phenomenal fighter. He had that little run where he just looked unbeatable, dominated some of the top guys in the division. Then against Islam, he didn't look himself, but he came back. Beneil Dariush absolutely dominated, looked phenomenal. Charles has such an advanced skill set compared to so many of these guys in this division. He is phenomenal at striking, phenomenal on the mat. He has great defense. He's great at, after he gets rocked, he's good at getting away and staying up. I think that his skills are just a little more than our men, not to take away, because he's phenomenal. He really did also set himself up for a great opportunity here. Charles had the opportunity, got injured, and this is his last opportunity for a while maybe. The division's getting a little shaken up. I'm going to take Charles to come here and get his title opportunity. Next, we got Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Max Holloway moving up to face Justin Gaethje for the BMF title. This is going to be an absolute banger. These two guys both love to stand in the pocket and just go crazy. It's going to be a very exciting fight. High opportunity to be fight of the night. Justin Gaethje is coming off a phenomenal victory against Dustin Poirier with the head kick. Max Holloway, he's never been knocked down before, but Justin Gaethje, a lot of UFC fighters say that Gaethje's one of the hardest hitting opponents they've ever faced. He's a heavy hitter, and he knows how to find those unique strikes. I think Max Holloway, he's going to be able to stay in it. He's moving up, so I think people aren't really taking that into consideration. He's moving up. He's going to have a lot more power, a lot less cutting. It's going to be a great fight, but I am going to take Gaethje to win this one and set himself up for a title opportunity. Next, we got our co-main event, Zhang Weili versus Yang Xiaonan. And Yan is a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but Zhang Weili is just absolutely phenomenal. I think she is skill sets above a lot of these strawweights. I think she could set herself up as one of the best strawweights of all time. I think she's going to come in here and she's going to dominate. Yan, I'm not going to rule everything out, but she likes to go to decision and try to out-technique her opponents, and that's just not going to happen against Zhang Weili. She could do everything in the ring. She's one of the most skilled female fighters in the UFC right now. Phenomenal ground game, phenomenal striking, defense, everything. She's going to put the work on Yan and pick up the win. Next, we got our main event for UFC 300. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Alex Pereira has been on such a tear since entering the UFC. Every fight of his is phenomenal. He is so skilled. His leg kicks, his striking are absolutely phenomenal. His defense is unreal. I think that Jamal Hill is going to be a real test for him. He is coming off of this injury, though. He was the title holder before and had to vanquish it due to injury. I do think that, Jamal Hill has a little bit of one-up on Alex, beating his coach in Glover Teixeira, but I think Alex Pereira is very good at breaking his opponents down. Jamal Hill has been saying that he's going to try to beat Alex at his own game and stand up and fight him. And if he does that, he will get absolutely knocked out. Alex Pereira, his punching power is unmatched. I'm taking Alex Pereira in this fight.